graphics don't matter is one of those gaming arguments that sounds smart until you really unpack what graphics are. People often reduce graphics to realistic visuals, but graphics are actually a huge part of how a game communicates mood, mechanics, scale, emotion, and immersion. Graphics absolutely matter, they're just not the only thing that matters. Here are a few reasons why graphics do matter. First is first impressions. As humans, we're visual creatures. Before we feel gameplay, hear music, or understand mechanics, we see the game. That's the first thing that we do when we play a game, is we look at it. And that visual experience is always going to be part of our first impressions with a game. A striking visual style can instantly create interest and identity. There's a reason games like The Last of Us, Cyberpunk 2077, or Red Dead Redemption 2, they generate immediate emotional reactions just by seeing screenshots and images of the game, never mind actual gameplay or even cutscenes. Graphics also create immersion. Better lighting, animation, facial expressions, environmental detail, and physics make worlds feel more believable. When a game world reacts naturally, your brain buys into the illusion more easily. That emotional connection is part of the experience, not separate from it. And visuals support storytelling. Games tell stories visually, constantly. A ruined building implying a past war, a character's exhausted expression, color grading creating dread or hope, weather effects setting tone. Much of a game's storytelling happens without actual dialogue taking place. But story aside, gameplay readability also depends on good graphics. Graphics aren't just eye candy. Good visual design communicates gameplay information as well. Things like the silhouette of an enemy walking towards your direction, attack telegraphs during combat, visual cues that indicate environmental hazards. Competitive games especially rely heavily on visual readability. Graphics also include a game's art direction, which most of the time defines the entire game. Sometimes graphics are the experience. Games like Journey, Cuphead, Okami, and Borderlands would not hit the same emotionally with generic visuals. Their art style is inseparable from their identity. And also from a technical perspective, graphic advancements push the industry forward. Every generation, visual innovation influences hardware development, animation systems, AI behavior, physics, rendering technology, open world density. Graphics are often the visible proof of broader technological leaps. Just to share my own anecdotal experience with that for a bit, I grew up with the PlayStation 2. That was part of my entire early childhood. But when I experienced the PlayStation 3 for the first time, specifically Metal Gear Solid 4, it's like an entire new world of possibilities was being opened up to me, and I really felt the difference, and I knew what I was experiencing at that moment was not possible on the PlayStation 2. And the other thing is that people already act like graphics matter, despite discourse online. The market proves it constantly. Remasters sell very well, and you always see people begging for their favorite childhood classic to get a modern touch-up. And when we're talking about mods in various video games on PC, graphics and texture mods are always among the most popular that are downloaded. And we always see visual showcase trailers for upcoming games dominate social media constantly. Not to mention, the main reason why people buy GPUs and new consoles is for visual improvements for their games. Even gamers who say graphics don't matter often praise games for looking beautiful. At the same time, the counter-argument exists for a reason. A gorgeous game with terrible gameplay usually won't survive long. Nobody remembers a game only because it had shiny reflections if the mechanics were boring. That's why the more accurate statement is graphics are not sufficient for a great game, but they are absolutely important. A useful comparison is movies. Good cinematography won't save a bad script, but nobody seriously argues that visuals are irrelevant to film. Games are the same way, except visuals also affect interaction and gameplay clarity. And honestly, part of the reason people push graphics don't matter so hard is because gamers got tired of publishers chasing photorealism while neglecting gameplay depth. But that backlash sometimes swung too far into pretending visuals are meaningless when they're actually one of the core pillars of gaming.